Welcome back. New Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh is preparing for his first week on the job. House Democrats, though, say they are not finished with him yet. Donald Trump Jr. warning in a tweet, quote, Trump supporters, you better believe that Democrats are going to do everything in their power to impeach Kavanaugh from the Supreme Court if they take control of Congress in November. Yesterday, the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee vowed to investigate Kavanaugh if Democrats win control of the House. Congressman Jerry Nadler telling the New York Times, quote, this, we are going to have to do something to provide a check and balance to protect the rule of law and to protect the legitimacy of one of our most important institutions. Now, an exclusive interview right now, Missouri Republican Senator Roy Blunt, Vice Chairman of the Senate Republican Conference. Senator, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good to be with you, Maria.
Do you agree the fight is not over yet?
Well, that sounds very much in keeping with where the Democrats have been from day one. You know, Senator Schumer said he would do anything possible to keep Brett Kavanaugh from going on the court. Frankly, I think they're making a big mistake here, holding this information, rolling it out in the most unfair way to everybody involved after they'd had it for months, now talking about if we get in charge, we're going to look at this in some other way. Frankly, what they've managed to do is energize the Republican base in a way that usually the party that just won a presidential election isn't energized in the next election cycle. But what they really continue to do is this unfair, really totally unrealistic behavior of guilty until proven innocent, of whatever we can do to stop our political opponents from being able to do what voters put them in place to do. I just don't think it works. It doesn't work for them. Frankly, I think the more they talk about the kinds of things that Congressman Nadler apparently has said, the worse it will be for them. But they can't stop them, and they obviously think this is a political tactic that works for them. I don't think it works at all.
So what do the midterms look like at this point from your standpoint? Have things changed given the level of hate and attack on the left?
Well, things have changed. You know, we'll see in 4 weeks and a couple of days how much they've changed. It's clear that things have changed again. Conservative voters, Republican voters, constitutional conservatives are energized like they weren't before. But if we've learned anything from President Trump, it's how short the news cycle is, and we'll see whether this is sustained or not. I believe it will be. I think the tactics used by Democrats in the Senate, the obvious presidential politics that several members of that committee and the Senate were pursuing, just look like that the politics doesn't ever end. The campaigns have gotten out of control, and now they want to carry that right into daily governing. And I think it's not going to work for them. You know, Judge Kavanaugh is probably the most investigated, vetted person maybe in the history of confirmations. Yeah. 7 confirmations, nothing that began, nothing. And by the way, in every one of those questions, in every one of those 7 background checks, right, questions about drinking are asked, questions about have you ever heard anything that we should follow up on. One reason those actual background checks themselves need to remain confidential is you never want people to be hesitant, right, to say, well, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard this. And that's what's happened with Judge Kavanaugh 7 times, and nobody's ever heard anything. Yeah,
meanwhile, where does the Senate go now in terms of this lack of civility and these attacks? Susan Collins has been flooded with hate tweets. I'll read you one of them. I hope someone kills you. I will not mourn your death, another one says. I can't even read the rest. It's actually disgusting. Here's Chuck Grassley, who joined me last week on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business to talk about what has taken place here. Listen.
I also think that the resistance that's been in existence since November 2016 is headquartered here on Capitol Hill. When you have congresswomen say that you get in the face of anybody that's in the cabinet, we have senators say get in the face. We ought to be setting an example of civility as leaders and public servants, not encouraging that incivility, that the resistance is very much their modus operandi.
What does it look like to you in terms of getting things done, executing an agenda, when you've got this kind of division and hate?
Well, we actually oddly have gotten a lot done in this Congress.
Yes, you have.
The appropriations bills at the right time, the FAA extension we just did, the opioid bill, the increase in health care funding. We're getting a lot done, but nobody's able to see that because of so much noise and so much coverage of that noise. Clearly, you know, I chaired the inauguration. I was there and in charge that day, and I said what we're really good at in this country, where we set a standard for everybody else, is the transfer of power. But this is an election where the side that lost has not been willing to accept the transfer of power, to be the reliable questioner of what's going on,
yep.
But not to challenge the constitutional opportunities that are there. You know, just trying to get undersecretaries of this and that and the other confirmed in today's Senate has been almost impossible. And the Supreme Court fight we just went through shows how far I think the other side is prepared to take this.
Yeah, and by the way, it seems like this Kavanaugh fight has brought the never-Trumpers on the Republican side together with the president. I mean, even those people who did not accept President Trump on the Republican side got together with him to make sure that Kavanaugh was confirmed. So it seems like it has improved relations. Is that a fair statement?
Well, I think when you see what the president gets done, as opposed to maybe the way he does it, this unbelievably strong economy, trade bills that seem to be coming together, the ability to put people on the court that will look at the Constitution and the law and see what it says. I think there is a sense among Republicans that this fight is better than your personal feelings about anybody in it.
Sure.
And I think there has been a consolidation, and the president himself, I think, has begun to appreciate in ways that he might not have before how important it is that you support the people that support you and work with them and give them an opportunity to get things done.
Senator, good to have you on the program. Thanks very much.
Good to be with you.
Senator Roy Blunt joining us there.